Ogun State, and FCT. And before then, we have had some measure of lockdown, 2 weeks before the 5 weeks, meaning that we've been in this condition for about 7 to 8 weeks now. And really the goal is for all of us to balance protection of life and the sustenance of our livelihood. So following each of the phases, we've been reviewing them. 3 times Mr. President had come out to review his position, and I think at each of those occasions we've seen either improvements or we've seen all of the various measures that have been put in place. It's also important for us to explain to Lagosians that over that time, Lagos State has wrapped up a lot of capacity. Just 2 days ago, I'm sure you remember that we opened another isolation center, which is the Bagada Isolation Center, which we said has about 120 beds, but for both critical care and the mild to moderate cases as well. And that center, like we've mentioned, can take both what we call the yellow zones and the red zones. And I imagine it's gone live now. And I also did mention 2 days ago that there are 1 or 2 other facilities that we have identified. One, like we said, is strictly for our health officials that may fall positive in the course of the line of duty. So they have a dedicated isolation center, and that has also gone live for them. And I did also mention that I keep calling our medical colleagues that are in isolation center, and like I said, all of them are doing very, very well, and there's nothing for anyone to be scared or worried about. As at last night, we have a total of 1,084 cases, confirmed cases in Lagos. Of this amount, we have discharged a total of about 247 to date, and they've been treated and they've been discharged. Very sadly, we've lost 28 of the patients, and as we speak, we have active about 791. And so we believe that as we continue to test, we would see cases because they are in the community, like I keep saying already. And so it really is for us to continue to do that test aggressively and be able to comb the communities out of this virus. And so we imagine we'll still see a lot of positivity. But I think it's important for me to mention to all of us transparently that we have almost 3,000 samples that have been collected, but because of the global shortage of the reagents, we've not been able to complete the test, the molecular test that we're doing. We're hoping that some of the reagents will be coming in tomorrow and next tomorrow. We made orders, for this because of the huge number that we've seen. And so it will not be out of place that once we test this number, which is about 3,000, like I said, we can see positivity of a range of between 10 to 20% being positive of that number. So, gentlemen of the press, is really not for anybody to get worried or scared. It confirms with the amount of testing that we're doing. So once this 3,000 goes in, we might see up to 300, 400, 500 positive cases. And we're planning and we're preparing ourselves to be able to take care of them. Just so that the narrative does not get construed that it was because of the phased lockdown that we're coming to get into in the week that will bring or that will be bringing about these huge positive cases. And we're hoping and expecting that they will continue to get well, and life would certainly be disrupted, but we're hoping that it will get to normalcy as we follow all of the trends and protocols that we're expressing to ourselves. I think it's also important that I mention that earlier today, I had 2 sets of meetings. One was with the traditional rulers in Lagos State, all the paramount rulers, first-class rulers in Lagos, about 40 of them we had a meeting online, and the very first one, and it was a very, very, very useful engagement, useful suggestions coming out from our traditional fathers and rulers of our various towns and communities. I also held another meeting with the 57 local government chairmen, which was also a very, very useful and fruitful meeting. And what are the things? It's really all about collaborative effort and using them as champions to ensure that all the information, all the advocacy, all the communication that needs to get to the nooks and crannies of the states are carried by all of these government officials and traditional rulers, and they are going to be passing on the messages to the relevant arms of the state government as they deem fit. I think it's also important right now that as we move into the gradual unlocking tomorrow, there's a curfew for emphasis state, which I did mention to them is from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. on a daily basis. And it's important for them to take this message back home, because some of our citizens, they've never witnessed or understand what a curfew is. So that has to be explained to them, and they have to take it back to their community. So from 8 p.m. to 6 p.m. tomorrow, all movements in Lagos are prohibited, except for people on essential services. Essential services are agro products, petroleum products, relief materials, food materials, and all the likes. Those are the only ones that are exempted. Also, to give an amendment to our earlier speech, where it said that the public service from grade level in the entire unified public service from grade level 1 to 12 will be staying at home. We've had to review our position, and we've actually now extended the directive that all civil servants will stay away tomorrow. All civil servants will stay away tomorrow. They should not come to work tomorrow, because we actually want to measure how people reflect and react to the unlocking. And even from Tuesday, it's only officers from grade level 15 and above have the express permission to come to work. It's only grade levels 15 and above have the express permission to come to work. All other officers that might be required, that might be critical to the service, they will be informed by the accounting officers that they are required. This is a demonstration of the government, of our own commitment to ensure that it is really a gradual unlocking. And we have to make ourselves example to say to our citizens that we want to use the civil service as a demonstration that we're serious with what we say. We do not want people to rush out tomorrow. We do not want people to see this as an attempt that it's all over and it is eureka. It's not, and we're monitoring. So that's why we said tomorrow, let all our public officers, our civil servants, still remain at home. And on Tuesday, from grade level 15 and above, will be coming in. However, if you are needed and if you are critical to the activity of your ministry, the accounting officer will be communicating with you. Same applies to all the local governments and LCDs we have in the state. All of them will remain closed, except the ones that the local government chairman will have express instruction and permission for them to come to work. So this, for us, is very, very strong, and is a very strong demonstration of our commitment to ensure that it is just a very phase and ease lockdown that we're talking about. Also, regarding the markets and the open stores, I had mentioned that they will be allowed to open from the hours of 9 a.m. to 3 a.m. But the alteration we're making to that now is that the markets are going to be opening on alternate days. And what do I mean? All the food market and stores will be permitted to only open on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. I'll repeat, food markets will be open only on Tuesdays, on Thursdays, and Saturdays from the hours of 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. However, other markets that are selling building materials, spare parts, non-food markets will be open on Mondays, on Wednesdays, and Fridays. All other non-food markets will be open only on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And I hope that this directive will be strictly adhered to. This is also an attempt for people not to rush out. This is also a case that we want to really slow down how people get into the activity, of the economy. The private sector and the companies can open, like we did mention, with a graduated number, a maximum of 60% of their total capacity. Maximum of 60% is what is agreed for them, and it's strictly between the hours of 9 a.m. and 3 a.m. as we had said. We will continue to encourage people to work from home and people to have flexible working hours. Like we said, and we'll continue to say that if you don't need to come out, you don't have to. And I'm sure that the private sector the private sector companies will cooperate with us with this. As much as possible, we also want them to make arrangements for the transportation of their staff as much as it's feasible, so that they can clearly be assured of the status and the health situation of their staff. As much as possible, we'll encourage them to provide their transportation. This is to reduce the risk of exposure and infection that we have in the community. Regarding the banks, which are very critical sector of our industry, they are also encouraged to open as many of their branches that they feel it's possible operationally between the hours of 9 and 3 p.m. But they certainly must make sure that they keep to the distancing in their branches, and ensure, like we did mention, regular cleaning of their ATM machine, because that is one of the things that the general public get to use continually. Regular cleaning of their ATM machine to see how they disinfect the ATM machine regularly on a daily basis, so that people can rest assured that each time they go to the machine, they are fit and proper for usage. All manufacturing and construction companies, they also can open between the hours of 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. We've given them that long time because of the kind of work they do, right? And if anybody needs to get exemption, they can only be given exemption from the Lagos State government. Just to emphasize again, for eateries and restaurants, because of the Ramadan period that we have, we need to also be considerate to our Muslim brothers and sisters, right? We have extended their opening hours for eateries and restaurants, and we've said that it's only takeaway and order. There are no sit-in dining in any of these restaurants or eateries. So they can open from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. The 7 p.m. because they've assured us that they also can provide means of transportation and accommodation for their staff. So for eateries, for restaurants who are strictly doing takeaways and order, because of the Ramadan period we are in, we want to give that waiver for them to still be open till 7 p.m. so that people can still make their breaking of fast order from them, and thereafter they can go home. Of course, places of worship continue to remain closed, and I'm hoping that everybody will continue to restrict themselves and comply with those directives. Schools, there have been a lot of information and misguided ones around schools. Schools are still closed. Private schools, public schools, primary schools, secondary schools, tertiary institutions, they all remain closed. However, we are aware that there are some online classes that are taking place with some schools. We encourage people to have very useful dialogue between the parents and the school authority, and we, as much as possible, we just want to plead, because we've seen a lot of acrimony and we've seen a lot of issues coming out from this angle. I think these are difficult times, and I think everybody just needs to understand and see things from each other's perspective. Recreational parks, saloons, sporting, they still remain closed, as been mentioned. Hotels still remain closed, but however, the hotels that we're using for accommodation for our frontline medical staff, We have about 15 of them, or that we're using as our quarantine isolation center that has the state government officers running and controlling the place are the only ones that are exempted. Every other ones will remain closed. We also want to mention that for commercial transportation, they have been allowed to operate between the 6 a.m. when the curfew will be over till 7 p.m. And the directives and all the capacity of each of those vehicles will come out in the regulation that we are circulating already, that will show the capacity of each vehicle, including the BRT buses, including the downfall buses, and all of that. The maximum capacity will be spelled out. And we have finished extensive conversation and discussion with their union, both the NURTW and the RETAN, and they've agreed and collaborated with us to say that all of the guidelines that we've issued to them around ensuring that they keep distancing, physical distancing in the buses, ensuring that hand sanitizer and personal hygiene are provided, ensuring that hand washing are encouraged at all of their bus terminals and model parks. All of these directives, they've agreed with us that it is implementable and they will start from tomorrow. We have gone around, we have seen that some of them are ready to have these things implemented, and we'll be monitoring and we'll be observing them. I would also like to mention that during the lockdown, if you remember about 3 weeks ago, as part of our palliatives, I did mention that I was going to give a global waiver to all the vehicles that have been seized by both LASMA and the police. And I gave a deadline that if you've been arrested up until the 14th of April, that you will not be paying a fine. I still keep to my directive. You can go and collect your vehicles from Tuesday, not tomorrow. From Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you can go to the various stations or the various places where your cars have been held, and they'll be released to you free of charge. That's part of the palliatives that I promised, and we're keeping to those palliatives that were announced. On funerals, our directive will continue to hold. People have complied. People are coming to bury their dead, and we'll continue to give them that space. In the course of the week, we will review how many people have complied, and like we said, if we don't see the compliance level that we'll expect, we have said that we'll be forced to take up other responsibilities, because we cannot afford to keep those morgues at the capacity at which they were about a week or 2 weeks ago. Just to also re-emphasize that face mask, like we have said, is compulsory for everyone to start wearing them, especially if they are in a public arena. If you are going out, it's important that you wear a face mask. We on our own have started distributing to all of our various stakeholders, and tomorrow, in fact, we'll be giving to the general public on bus stops and on corner shops at market. We'll be giving out to people even as they come out from their home. Today, we've given quite a number to the market leaders, to the market women. We've also sent to all our traditional rulers, just to ensure that they can distribute at their own level. We're sending some to also the local government chairman, so that we can continue to have the distribution go smoothly and effectively. I think all of the guidelines around motor parks and water transportation is all the same thing. From 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., the water transportation system too can work, and that's the timelines they have to continue to do their activity. Like I said, the guidelines are going to be passed on to the gentlemen of the press immediately after this address, that further stimulate line-by-line regulations as into vehicles, the size of the vehicle, and the capacity of each of those vehicles. They've been further explained in the guidelines that will be given out. We'll also mention to Lagosians that for us to express our seriousness of all of these directives we've given, that we will be setting up a hotline for whistleblower, and I'm happy to pass on the 3 telephone numbers that we've set up for whistleblowing, for people to complain if they think that the companies are not keeping to the social distancing or the physical distancing that has been stated, or if buses are not complying, or if markets are not complying, we have people that will have numbers that we're going to give out now, and people can call to complain, and we'll come and take the necessary steps at clamping down such facilities. So the numbers are 0901 051 3197, 0901 051 3197, 3198, and 3199. So there are three numbers and they are serialized: 0901 051 3197, 3198, and 3199. There'll be somebody on the other side to pick the call and take whatever complaints or whatever information you need to pass to us. We can be rest assured that your confidentiality will be kept and appropriate sanctions will be meted to people that flout any or all of these regulations. So as I end this very short address or press briefing, I want to re-emphasize that these are not easy moments. These are indeed very difficult times for all of us. And I can tell you that the decisions we are making are not easy decisions. But we've said to you that we'll be very transparent and be very sincere at all times with all of the decisions we're making. But we believe that these are attempts for each and every one of us to be able to end this pandemic, this lockdown, as soon as possible. I will caution that we'll remain at home, and if we must truly go out, let us know that it's only because it's essential and it's important. We'll continue to encourage our elderly ones to remain at home, and it's only if it is absolutely necessary that they go out. Because of their age, it's important for us to continue to advise them to stay at home. This disruption that we have seen will continue in one form or the other. We do not know when it will be able to resume, where we'll be able to resume what we once regarded as our normal life, or even if we're going to have that seemingly normal life back. But we're sure that this will also pass through and it will pass over all of us. I want to encourage all of us to stay focused. I want to say that your government, our government, at all times will continue to do the very, very best for each and every of our citizens, and we will continue to ensure that we'll keep the highest level of transparency. Like we did mention on Wednesday, that everybody that has supported us on this journey by any form of donation, be it cash, be it kind, we had advertised and we had published all their names, and it was in on the newspaper of February the 1st. And so everybody that says that they have supported us, May the 1st, Friday, May the 1st, is a center spread of about 3 or 4 newspapers, and they are also on our website, so that you can go and track what everybody has given to us. And we're also doing individual, personally signed letter to acknowledge and to thank each and every of those donors. As little as whatever amount you've given to us, or whatever product you've given to us, we shall account for it and we shall acknowledge it appropriately. Thank you very much, and good afternoon.
With this very explicit briefing, and I'm sure you will still have questions to ask, I want to request that we just compress all our questions into 2, so that only 2 of us will take these questions.
Good evening, Mr. Governor. My name is Titilayo Aberewo from Channels TV. We appreciate the good work you are doing in Lagos State, but we'd like to know if you are convinced that this is the right time to lift the lockdown. And secondly, in case if we keep seeing rising of cases in Lagos State, or the kind of new order you'll be given. And again, we've also come across some kind of stories about families being exposed to COVID-19. For instance, maybe husband and wife and then their children as well. We know that there are several isolation centers in the state, but if, for instance, their children are also exposed to such, do you have a room to accommodate them, or are you planning to create such so that you can have a place to keep them? Thank you, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Governor. Florence Sanwo-Olu is my name from News Agency of Nigeria. I want to know, sir, are there laws for whistleblowers? Then, there is this issue of the isolation centers not being adequate. So, may we know the capacity we have and what we are up to. Then, there is this issue of people going back being positive after being treated and tested negative. Please, do we have such things? Can we be briefed on that? Thank you.
Thank you very much. That will be all.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. So from channels, is it the right time for us to unlock? So that's why we're taking time to further explain what we're doing. So we've been on this journey for 7 weeks now. 5 weeks from the direct directive of Mr. President, 2 weeks even before then. And you will also agree with me that personally too, you have come to also say that there are lots of complaints outside there. So it's a delicate balance. We have the responsibility as a government to continue to listen to all concerned. And so that's why we've said that what we're planning to do, as much as possible, it is phased and it is a slight ease of the lockdown. And everything I've enumerated, you've seen, and that's why we are coming back here today to see. We do not plan to move from 0 to 100%. We actually want to see a movement to 30, 40%. Tomorrow we've said every public officer stay back at home. So that in itself is a direct test to see how many people comply. People usually leave home at 5 a.m., 6 a.m. to catch a 7 o'clock appointment. We said that you don't need to rush. Wait till 9 o'clock in the morning. Let's see what the response of this thing is. Go home early, keep up to 60%. When I said up to 60%, some companies actually could do 30%, could do 40%. We're just saying that maximum that you can keep is up to that 60%. Because it's a balance that we're also trying to do. We don't want an excuse that will be given with the private company later and say that they now need to ration staff, they now need to start having job losses. These are conversations we're having with them on a regular basis to say that one of the commitments you need to give us is that nobody would be losing their job. So it's a balance that we all need to strike, and we need to also check it. But if, and we also know it, like you said, that over 70, 60% of our people, hike their living on a daily basis. These are drivers, these are people in the market. So, I mean, we need to also be considerate. So we said, okay, markets, you also cannot go every time. You cannot go out every day. You also cannot have the full 12 hours or 18 hours that they usually used to do. Let's restrict it to 6 hours. Let's see if we can slow down the interactions in all of those things. And we'll be monitoring. We'll be checking ourselves, right? We're believing that if people take responsibility, and that's the word that I think we should take away from here. If people take responsibility, what we're trying to do, perhaps all of us will be on the same page and we'll see the benefit of what we're trying to achieve. Right? And so that's why I also mentioned that before coming out this afternoon, all of the other stakeholders, we have had extensive meetings with them to have their buy-in. All our traditional rulers who are institutions that people also still believe in, we've had meetings with them, we've expressed this thing to them, and so they are going back to their wards to further take this conversation. The local government chairman, who also still have responsibility at their local authority, have also been properly briefed. We've taken their own point, and they said that, Mr. Governor, we will work with you. We will ensure that we'll keep all of it. So let's see it. Let's watch it. That's what we're saying. This first set could be for 1 week, it could be for 2 weeks. We're all tracking ourselves and monitoring it, right? Some people have said that we don't know. It could be here for longer, but at some point in time, we need to be able to balance it. So that's the attempt of what we're trying to do. And you talked about husband and wife and children all being infected. That in itself has turned to an isolation center, if you know what I mean. So I mean, once it is infected, what you need to do is to ensure that you just come and decontaminate the place, and they probably will get well, right? And so it is really for us to be able to track and monitor such an household, right? Since they are inside, it's a containment, right? So nobody can turn anybody to positive again. Everybody, so let's all sit down, let's understand ourselves, and we'll get out of it together, right? But government will be there to support and to help them, all our health facilities. And if it's something that we need to take out and bring to our facility, we will certainly will do that. And so there's nothing to be worried about. My sister from news agency, whistleblower, is there something for them? Well, I think the reward is life. I mean, that's a simple thing. What we're giving back is life. We're giving people an opportunity for them to live. So what financial gain, other than you are complaining about your employer who is risking your life unduly, and you are saying that I want to take responsibility, I'm wearing my face mask, you haven't done yours, you haven't provided this. That's what the whistleblower is. So he wants life. He wants to. So there's nothing that you can give other person but to ensure that that person's life is protected. And that's the critical thing that we're given. Do we have enough isolation center, and are they adequate? You see, there have been several conversations. So people wrote and said that Lagos had run out of. But the very next day, we opened another 120 room. Just 2 days ago, I also said to you that we're opening another one that is dedicated for the medical officers. We have a few isolation centers that I've said, and I'm saying again, that are not necessarily known to the media. The reason is because they are private properties. They are private hotels. And so we do not want a situation where post-COVID, it becomes a stigmatized place. And so people are also going there, they're getting well, and we're getting a lot of results. And we're doing a lot of collaboration as well. There are other places that are coming up, right? And we're also still looking at even our existing 27 or 29 hospital facilities that we have, and see if we can also ring-fence part of our existing secondary health facilities as dedicated isolation centers, just so that we can wrap up, the capacity that we have. But eventually is to continue to look at our strategy. Once we get to some number, we need to be very creative and look at other strategies. What are the other strategies that we need to have? Right? And that will make public once those strategies have been made. Issues around people being negative and now getting positive back. I don't know there's a full jury on it, but maybe the commissioner can say one or two things since I'm not a medical person, but I mean, I don't know.
So thank you for that question. That has occurred in the past where you've turned negative, and then when we retest you, a very small number will turn positive again for a brief period of time before they turn negative again. That is generally the nature of how these virus infections behave. So what we do is when we discharge patients, we still tell them that when they go home, they should isolate for a further 14 days, even though they are negative. They should refrain from excessive contact with other people, because we can't keep people in isolation for very extended periods of time, because it does affect their psychology, affect their well-being. So as soon as you turn negative, it is possible that you may turn positive again for a brief period of time. So to cater for that, we still advise everybody that has been discharged to practice an extended isolation in their residence or their home. And that usually takes care of that situation.
Mr. Governor, I would have loved to close, but Sue coming from Vanguard, we used to have this last round of questions. Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Governor.
With there's this going on. Lagos is in short. PP shed more light on this. How far is true? Then, secondly, sir, in the area of treatment, we heard that some people some patients are trying to escape from the isolation centers, Yaba. I want you to make clarification to that. Has there been any arrest or has there been any attempt of such? Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. You're asking if there's a rumor that there's shortage of PPE. PPE can never be a rumor, and shortage is not a rumor. If there are no PPEs, there are no EPPs. And the truth about the matter is, these are consumables. Even if you buy 10,000, for as long as people are using them, for as long as people are getting positive, and you're having a lot more medical personnel on the line to train, and you will run short of it. But the question is, how quickly do you now reflect back? How quickly do you ensure that you get your reorder back? So we'll continue to, have reorder level, right? So these are consumables. It's like you're using your mask. They are not one-off use. So if they are one-off use, they are not repeated use. So we'll continue to buy. But the information or the thing you need to help us with is to tell a few of our suppliers, this is not a time for people to profit unnecessarily. These are things that when we started, we had bought at 3,000, at 4,000. Now it's 15,000, 20,000. So people are unduly just taking advantage of it. And even when you tell them to go and bring, it's all stories again. So one of the things we're looking at is we're looking inward now to see if we can develop capacity internally and see if our local, like we're doing for face masks, if our local tailoring companies can be ingenious enough to also sow some, and the conversation is going very well, if I dare say. So it's like you have shortage of hand sanitizer. You will have, but the thing is, are you making provisions to continue to buy? Are you making provisions to continue to train the people that are using this thing on understanding when and how you can use it? And that's it. Question around people escaping from isolation. I'm hearing it for the first time. I'm not aware. I haven't heard of that at all. And you can see from all of our isolation centers, people are getting well. People are happy with their treatments, and people have come out to say that they've been treated, very well, and they've been treated very courteously, and they're indeed of how they've all had very positive comments coming out of the place. So there's really no need. Typically people will have a psychological shock of an isolation the first 1 or 2 days. But once you realize that these are also human beings like yourselves that are there, you snap out of it by the 3rd day, and then you just spend the time there, and you hope to get well as soon as possible. The conversation really should be around stigmatization, and that's one of the things you need to help us populate very, very well. People that have gone to isolation center and they are back, they are still your brothers, they are still your sisters, they are still your wife or your spouse, and you should treat them as such. Nothing has changed about them. They've just been unwell for 2-3 weeks, and they are back to you. So please, let's show them the same, if not more love that we used to show them before, they went into isolation. And it's not, like we said, it's not a death sentence. They are not, in any leprosy form that gets something that anybody needs to be ashamed of, nothing whatsoever. And please, these are conversations that we need to pass on to ensure that our people, have the right psyche for all of us to be able to fight this pandemic and fight it once and for all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. You will take the Yoruba, but this last person I thought was going to come from them. I'm a civil servant, and Governor Abiodun of Ogun State has said that workers in Lagos State that live in Ogun State will not be allowed to move in Ogun State. I'm sure even those on level 15.
It's very simple. Obey the rule. Just stay back there. It's a very simple rule. We shouldn't break it for anyone. His Excellency Governor Dapper has all of the rights, and the Mr. President have said so, that it's part of slowing down. All right, it's part of slowing down. If you live there and you need to cross it, please stay over there. Stay over there. It's better for us to live life. It's better to have life afterwards than trying to rush down because of a payday's check. So we will encourage them to just stay back, and we'll support him.
very much.
Thank you. Fún àwọn èèyàn wa nílé o, ẹ káàsán o, gbogbo ìta tí ń sọ ní èdè òyìnbó náà ni pé ká tún fi ọ̀rọ̀ fi wá ara wa pọ̀ lẹ́nu ká dẹ̀ tún sọ fún wa ibi tá bá. Ṣé mọ̀ pé wọ́n ti ń sọ pé bóyá lọ́la wọ́n fẹ́ jẹ́ kí a bọ́ síta. Ó ṣe pé bóyá a dẹ̀ fẹ́ ṣí gbogbo ìlú sílẹ̀. Bíbọ́ síta yẹn ni pé kí àwọn tí wọ́n ní ẹ̀tọ́ láti bọ́ síta nìkan bọ́ síta. Báwo dẹ̀ la ṣe fẹ́ ṣe é? Bíbọ́ síta yẹn tá bá mú láti ìdá kan títí di ìdá kẹwàá pé àwọn tó gbọ́dọ̀ jáde wọn gbọ́dọ̀ dùjá bí márùn-ún lọ. Ní àkọ́kọ́ a ti ṣe ìpàdé pẹ̀lú gbogbo àwọn lọ́balọ́ba wa nílùú Èkó lénìí. A tún ti ṣe ìpàdé pẹ̀lú gbogbo àwọn olórí local government wa náà lénìí. Gbogbo wa dẹ̀ ti forí sọwọ́pọ̀, a dẹ̀ ti gbà pé èyí tá fẹ́ ṣe yìí àwọn náà máa bá ìjọba lọ́wọ́ sí. Àwọn náà máa bá wa polongo ẹ̀ sáàrin ìlú gbogbogbò pé látọ̀la lọ lálẹ́ ọ̀la èyí tí àwọn Yorùbá tún máa ń pè ní bí orò ká jókòó sí láti aago 8 alẹ́ títí di aago 6 àárọ̀ ọjọ́ kejì. A lè lọ́bì kankan láti aago 8 alẹ́ títí di aago 6 àárọ̀ ọjọ́ kejì. Ó dàbí pé bí ẹni pé orò fẹ́ wọ̀ lónìí o, tó bá yẹ pé orò náà dẹ̀ ká jókòó lé ẹjọ́ nítorí Ọlọ́run. Ṣùgbọ́n kó tó dìgbà yẹn gan àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ gbogbo àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ ìjọba pátápátá lọ́la àníkan jókòó lé pátápátá àtọ̀gá ni àtọmọdé ni lọ́la yẹn kí gbogbo nǹkan jókòó sílé kọ́mátì ẹ̀ tí jáde rárá. Ara ẹ̀ náà nìyẹn pé àìtí fẹ́ kí gbogbo wa ká jáde síta. Tó bá dẹ̀ tó wá di ọ̀túnla yẹn àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ ìjọba tó bá ti wà láti orí 15 wá sílẹ̀ á jẹ́ pé àwọn abala bíi 3 péré àwọn ọ̀gá 15, 16, 17 àwọn nìkan wọ́n lè wá síbi iṣẹ́. Ẹ̀rí pé tàbá wo yẹn ìdá yẹn lásán wọn lè dún bí 20-30% lọ. So gbogbo àwọn yòókù kan ìwà lé. Tó wá jẹ́ pé àwọn ọ̀gá ẹ̀ wọ́n nílò ẹ̀ wọ́n á pè ẹ́ lẹ́yọ kọ̀ọ̀kan fún lílò tó fẹ́ lò ẹ̀ fún. Ara ètò tí ìjọba tó kọ́kọ́ gbé sílẹ̀ ní pé ká máa fi wọ́n pé ìjọba fúnra rẹ̀ ló kọ́kọ́ fẹ́ jẹ́ pé ẹni tó máa gbófin sílẹ̀ tó dẹ̀ máa pòfin yẹn mọ́. Ló fi jẹ́ pé àkọ́kọ́ fi ara wa ṣe àpèjúwe. Ẹ̀rí pé gbogbo àwọn tó ń bá wa ṣe àkọ́kọ́ ní gbọ́dọ̀ tẹ̀lé kọ́kọ́ ní sùúrù náà. Nítorí ìyìn tó ń bá wa jà kò tí ì lọ tán láàrin wa. Lẹ́yìn kejì a tún wá sọ pé gbogbo àwọn ilé ọjà wa gbogbo ọkọ náà máa ṣí níjọ́ kan náà. Àwọn ilé ọjà tó yẹ pé oúnjẹ náà ń tà wọn ò ní ṣí lọ́la o. Ó máa dọ̀túnla, ó máa dijọ́ Thursday àtijọ́ Saturday ẹ̀mẹ́ta náà máa ṣí láàrin ọ̀sẹ̀. Gbogbo àwọn ọjà yòókù tí wọ́n ṣe oúnjẹ tó yẹ pé bóyá ìtọ́ tó ń ra mọ́tò part náà ń tà ní àbí ti àwọn tó fẹ́ kọ́lé àbí taláṣọ wọ́n á ṣí lọ́la wọ́n á ṣí níjọ́ Wednesday wọ́n á dẹ̀ ṣí ní Friday. Àsìkò ọjà náà a dẹ̀ ti sọ fún wa aago 9 mo ti kọ́ débẹ̀rẹ̀ aago 7 o aago 9 tó bá dẹ̀ ti di aago 3 kò ní ká kó ti palẹ̀ mọ́ ọjà ẹ̀ kó dilé. Tó bá dẹ̀ wá sọ́jà yín bá ṣe ti sọ kán fi àyè sílẹ̀ kán má fara kanra wọn. Kẹ́yìn náà kẹ́rí pé ẹ wọ èyí tó ìmọ̀ ń pè ní face mask mo ṣe wọ̀ yìí kẹ́ wọ̀ kẹ́ ní omi kẹ́ ní sanitizer tó máa fi sanwó tó bá ti gbó owó kẹ́ make sure pé ẹ tẹ̀ wọ gloves nígbà míì. Tó dáa tó máa tọjà tó máa rọjà lọ́wọ́ yín àwọn náà wọn ní kó nǹkan kan wá ẹ̀yin náà ẹ̀ ní fi nǹkan kan ránṣẹ́ sí wọn lọ́lé oníkàkọ́ á dúró bó ṣe wà tẹ́lẹ̀ Ọlọ́run náà dẹ̀ jẹ́ kí àìsàn náà á kúrò láàrin wa láìpẹ́ jọjọ́ o. Àwọn oníṣẹ́ òṣòwò náà tó jẹ́ pé tó ń dáṣe gbogbo náà láti fìwé ránṣẹ́ sí tàdé ti sọ fún wọn náà pé títí wọn náà gbogbo àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ wọn tó bá lè ṣiṣẹ́ láti ilé tó ti ń ṣe láti ilé kéní tó dé kán bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí máa ṣe lọ sí ni. Ṣùgbọ́n tó bá jẹ́ pàtó pé wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ wá a sọ pé nínú ìdá 1 sí 6 wọn gbọ́dọ̀ ju ìyẹn lọ tó gbọ́dọ̀ wà ńbẹ̀ pátápátá. A dẹ̀ ti fi àwọn tẹlifóònù nọ́mbà sílẹ̀ pé ẹni tó bá ti jẹ́ pé òun máa gbé gbogbo òfin ìjọba máa gbé sẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ a ti fi tẹlifóònù nọ́mbà tó máa fi ránṣẹ́ sí yín tẹ́ máa pè wá tẹ́ máa sọ fún wa pé iléeṣẹ́ báyìí kò gbọ́ràn tẹ́ sọ o ọjà báyìí kò gbọ́ nǹkan tẹ́ sọ o àbí mọ́tò báyìí kò gbọ́ nǹkan tẹ́ sọ o àdé fún wọn ní sàárè à fún wọn ní èyí tó yẹ ká fún wọn à dá sàárè fún wọn bó ṣe yẹ ká dá sàárè náà fún wọn à dá fún wọn bẹ́ẹ̀ gbogbo àwọn ìmọ̀ yòókù náà ó wà nínú ìwé pélégé tó máa fi ránṣẹ́ sí gbogbo wa èyí tá à ń ṣe yìí ni pé kí àìsàn yìí kó ba lè tètè kúrò láàrin wa ó dẹ̀ dídán kó máa kúrò àwọn ilé oúnjẹ wa náà a máa fáwọn náà láàyè díẹ̀ nítorí inú àwẹ̀ la wà pé kán ba lè ilé oúnjẹ tẹ́ bá dẹ̀ lọ wọn ò ní jókòó bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí tó oúnjẹ fún yín ẹ máa kọ̀ wá bẹ̀ ẹ máa ra ọkọ̀ tẹ́ fẹ́ rà ni wọ́n á dẹ̀ máa lọ ẹ dẹ̀ máa lọ ẹ ní jókòó kò sí jíjókòó kankan nílé oúnjẹ mọ́ ẹ kàn máa rà ẹ dẹ̀ máa gbé lọ sílé lọ jẹ ni gbogbo àwọn àdúrà wa tá máa ń ṣe nígbà àwẹ̀ náà wọn ní ilé ni ká ti máa ṣe wọn ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ká má gbàgbé eléyìí bọ́ lákòótọ́ ká rí pé ó pẹ́ jù àtọmọ yín àtọkọ yín kágo méje bá ti lù bá kóníkàkú ti wọlé ẹ̀ ìjọba ti fi àṣẹ yẹn sílẹ̀ ó dẹ̀ di dandan pé kí gbogbo wa ká tẹ̀lé àṣẹ ìjọba ni ọ ọlọ́run á dúró ti ilé àtọ̀nà wa ẹ ṣé gan ni o a máa rí yín bá o thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Have a good day.